The Moon. A barren, airless world orbiting Earth. A place where sound, as we know it, does not travel. But what if we could somehow place a lion on the Moon? What would its mighty roar sound like? Would it echo through the lunar landscape? Or would the silence of space swallow it whole? To understand this, we must first explore the nature of sound itself. Sound is a vibration that travels through a medium. On Earth, that medium is usually air. When a lion roars, its vocal cords vibrate, creating sound waves. These waves move through the air, reaching our ears as a deep, thunderous growl. But the Moon presents a problem. Unlike Earth, the Moon has no atmosphere. It lacks the essential air molecules needed for sound to travel. Without a medium, sound waves have no way to propagate. This means that, in the vacuum of space, a lion's roar would produce no audible sound. It would be as if the lion never roared at all. A silent burst of motion in an endless void. This isn't just true for a lion's roar. It applies to all sounds. An explosion on the Moon would be completely silent. A landslide of lunar dust would make no noise. Even a human scream would be met with utter stillness. But what if we place the lion inside a pressurized habitat? A dome filled with Earth-like air? Inside such an environment, the lion's roar would sound much the same as it does on Earth. The presence of air molecules would allow sound waves to travel. However, there would still be subtle differences. Lunar gravity is weaker than Earth's. This means that air pressure inside the dome would need to be carefully regulated. If the pressure were lower than Earth's standard atmosphere, the lion's roar might sound slightly thinner. The intensity of the sound might also be affected by the shape and size of the habitat. Sound waves could reflect off the dome's walls, creating unusual echoes. But what if we place the lion in a space suit? Would the roar be heard inside the suit? The answer is yes, but only by the lion itself. Inside the suit, sound could still travel through the lion's body and the air within the helmet. The vibrations would move through the lion's skull, reaching its inner ears. It would hear its own roar, but no one outside the suit would hear a thing. Astronauts experience something similar. When they talk inside their helmets, their voices don't travel through space. Instead, their words are transmitted as radio signals. If a lion's roar were recorded inside its helmet, it could be transmitted as an electrical signal. Mission control on Earth could then play it back. But on the Moon itself, the roar would never be heard naturally. This highlights one of space's most eerie qualities: the vast silence. Unlike Earth, where sound surrounds us constantly, space is a realm of stillness. A place where roaring fires make no sound. Where crashing meteorites strike the surface in utter quiet. Where even the most powerful explosion is nothing but a silent flash of light. This concept is famously captured in movies. The tagline for the film Alien reads, "In space, no one can hear you scream." And it's true. Not just for humans, but for any creature that might find itself on the moon. Even the mighty roar of a lion would be reduced to silence. So if a lion ever set foot on the moon, it would still be king. But it would rule in complete and utter quiet. A silent roar in a soundless world. A reminder of the strange and alien nature of space, where the absence of air changes everything. Even the voice of a predator. Even the sound of power itself. Yet, there is more to consider. What about vibrations? On Earth, a lion's roar is not just heard but also felt. A powerful growl can shake the ground. If a lion roared on the moon, could its sound travel through the surface instead? The answer is yes, but only in a limited way. Seismic waves could carry vibrations through the moon's surface. But because the moon is much denser and drier than Earth, the vibrations would dissipate quickly. Unlike our planet, the moon lacks a liquid core, which helps amplify sound-related waves. Any roar-induced vibrations would travel only a short distance before vanishing into silence. This means that even if a lion roared on the moon's surface, only those directly touching the ground nearby might feel a faint tremor. But what if we simulated an atmosphere? Could technology bring sound back to space? Scientists have proposed the idea of artificial atmospheres for space habitats. By filling enclosed structures with breathable air, astronauts could hear sounds much like they do on Earth. If a lion were placed inside one of these structures, its roar would be as powerful as ever. The echoes might even sound sharper in a controlled environment. But outside, beyond the protective walls, silence would still reign supreme. This demonstrates how crucial air is to our perception of sound. Without it, even the fiercest creatures become mute. And yet, the absence of sound in space offers new possibilities. Scientists study lunar silence to develop better communication systems. By understanding how sound behaves, or fails to behave, in space, engineers create new ways to transmit data. The study of sound in different environments also helps us understand exoplanets. Could distant worlds have atmospheres where sound behaves differently? Could a lion's roar on another planet be deeper, louder, or more distorted? These questions drive scientific curiosity. They push us to explore further, to learn more about the universe beyond our own world. And so, the idea of a lion roaring on the moon may be fictional. But the science behind it reveals profound truths about sound, space, and the physics that govern our reality. In space, sound may not exist as we know it. But the search for understanding continues. Because even in silence, there is much to discover. Even in the quiet void of the moon, science finds a voice. And that voice, though silent, echoes through the minds of those who dare to explore.